Hey everybody, and welcome back to Plus Ultra Pitching. A couple weeks ago, I got an excellent question in the comment section asking to do a video full of common mistakes that are seen in fast pitch softball pitching. And I thought that, I don't want to say that there's a lot, but this, if you haven't gathered from my channel already, softball pitching can be very nuanced. So I'm going to cover 3 common mechanical mistakes that I tend to see in my pitchers today. And then we'll do another mechanical breakdown at another date. But the top 3 that I see a lot affecting accuracy, and I know a lot of people really focus on speed, but I like to focus on accuracy and your wrist snap consistency, but this also does affect speed as well, are going to be your backswing and lining up, making sure you're lined up to the catcher. It's going to be how you push off of the mound, and it's going to be getting into that power K position. So we're going to go through each one by one. We're going to go through the mistakes, what happens as a consequence of those mistakes, and also how to fix it. So the first thing that I often see pitchers do, and this is more common with pitchers who have a backswing, but it can happen to anybody, is when you get into that load position just before you're about to launch off the mound and you go into your backswing, sometimes instead of going straight back, I see pitchers bring that ball kind of behind them. And what happens is their upper body, if you notice, my shoulders should be facing towards the catcher throughout the whole time, but instead, when your arm disappears behind your body, your shoulders are going to shift, and now they're facing more towards the inside corner of the plate. What happens when this happens is now my body, if I'm pushing straight forward and my body follows where my shoulders are going, I'm going to be going to the inside part of the plate. I'm not going to be pitching down the middle towards my catcher. So that is going to take away from the accuracy of and the command that you can throw your pitches on that middle outside part of the plate if you're always lining your body up towards the inside batter's box for a right-handed hitter. So easy way to correct that is, if you have a backswing, to just make sure that when you do your backswing, your shoulders and your knees and your toes, everything is always going to be facing the catcher at all times. So if you have a catcher, you can ask them to hold you accountable and make sure that when you go back for your backswing, that they can still see that softball behind your body, right? That way you'll be coming straight forward towards your catcher. If you don't have a catcher or you're pitching to a net, one drill that I really like to do is you get into that low position and you're going to do a couple backswings. Do like 3 or 4. 1, where you really practice the pendulum swing. 2, 3, and then on 4, you'll pitch that ball to your target. So that's mistake number 1 that I often see, is that backswing causing your body to turn off center. Second most common mistake that I see, your backswing is good. Once your backswing is fixed, is some people open up their hips and their body too early. So instead of reaching straight forward towards their catcher, staying nice and square, what happens is, as they're coming forward, they immediately open up their body and their hips, which is going to take away a lot of power from your pitching, a lot of that forward momentum, and a lot of that hip engagement that we talked about in Power K. So one way to fix this, one of the drills that we had talked about a couple of videos ago, is to do a drill where you're freezing right after you're reaching out towards the catcher. So you're in your load, you're going to reach out to your catcher, make sure that your shoulders, your hips, and both of your arms are still square to your catcher before you come through with an arm circle. So again, that's going from here, practicing moving straight forward to make sure everything is square and we don't open up until our arm is back behind our body for Power K. All right, and common tendency number 3 that I see with a lot of pitchers is the orientation of your hand. So as you're coming up through your reach, some pitchers will turn their arm away from their body. So that external rotation where you're turning your palm out and away, versus internal rotation where you're turning the palm of your hand in towards the midline of your body. So they externally rotate their hand in their shoulder as they come around their pitch. And that ball, instead of facing up towards the sky behind them, that ball is facing directly towards like where second base would be if you were pitching on a softball mound. My big thing with this is that it can cause shoulder issues. It puts a lot of strain on your shoulder to twist your arm in that external rotation, right? And so you can think of anything that you normally do when your arms are over your head. Imagine you're helping your parents get a box off the top shelf in the garage, right? When you lift up, you are lifting up with both of your hands facing in towards your body. You're not normally going to be lifting up with your palms away. So same thing with pitching. We want it to be really natural for our body, and we want to try to prevent injuries. One of the best ways to do that for our arm circle is to make sure our arm and the palm of our hand are going to be staying internally rotated throughout our pitch. And one of the ways that I like to have kids do it without them thinking too much about where their hand is at all times is think about where your hand is starting in the pitch. So when you're coming forward towards your catcher, I like to have the palm of your hand either facing in towards your glove at this point, because then as you come around, you'll naturally end up in this palm up position. Or I like to also have them come forward with their palm facing down, because same thing, as they naturally come around, we're still in that nice internal rotation, very comfortable for our arm, and we'll land with our arm in this comfortable palm up position as opposed to this strained, locked out position back behind us in Power K. So I hope that those tips were helpful. Just as a really quick review for the backswing, something that you could do is just pause in that backswing position and do 3 backswings, really practicing keeping your shoulders straight towards your target, making sure your catcher can see the ball the whole time. To help with opening your hips too early, really practice that freeze drill where we reach out towards our catcher and freeze and pause and check to make sure that your hips are still square to your catcher before you pitch the ball to your catcher. And last but not least, your hand orientation. Try to think about when you're starting your pitch, having your hand facing either in towards your glove or down towards the ground to help you get in the correct palm up position behind you. All right, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this answered some of the questions to the person who asked the question. Thank you again for the question. We'll do a couple more videos like this because, as I said, fast pitch can be a little bit nuanced. So there are always some mechanical things to tweak, but this is going to give you guys a good foundation to improve your command and your accuracy and, of course, your speed. All right, that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that you've had a great weekend. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I put out new videos every week. Put your questions in the comment section below. I love to answer them, and I also love to hear about your successes. And as always, Plus Ultra!